cases, sample taking 10th of March, and they became positive. There was a build-up till getting to the end of April, and then we have been coming down gradually. That is what we meant. This is not saying that Ghana is off the hook yet. The off are not over, and the woes are not off. To sustain this and further come down, we need to adhere to all the various preventive etiquettes that have been spelled out quite a number of times here. So, the Honorable Minister, this is the situation that we have for the number of case bills with respect to the confirmed cases that we have in Ghana.
Let's bring in the expert, virologist with the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Theophilus Adiku. Prof, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Based on the data presented today, are we truly at our peak and hence on a consistent decline, and that the worst is now behind us? Hello, Prof. Okay. We don't seem to have him on the telephone line, or he can't hear us. We'll fix that technical challenge and get his view for you shortly. A very important analysis of the data from an independent perspective. Also at the briefing today, the Information Minister, Kojo Ponkruma, disclosed that the President, of course we understand is actually underway, is meeting his cabinet for the next 3 days to assess the full impact of the COVID-19 on the economy.
President Akufo-Addo and his cabinet will, over the next 3 days, commence a process of examining data so far gathered on the impact of COVID-19 across the governance sectors in Ghana. It will be recalled that from the onset of the pandemic, the minister responsible for finance, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, briefed the nation through Parliament on the projected economic impact of the pandemic and measures that government was projecting to take at the time to mitigate the impact. Since then, under the leadership of the President, the government of Ghana has rolled out a number of measures in responding first to the health crisis specifically, and second to the socio-economic challenges that come with managing it. These measures, as you recall, include free water for 3 months, free electricity for 3 months for lifeline consumers, and 50% discount for non-lifeline consumers, among others. There's also mention of a soft loan program, which we'll speak about shortly, and then the facilitation of other loan facilities, I think as was mentioned yesterday by the President at Jubilee House, through some of the commercial banks. Now, about 8 weeks into the pandemic here in Ghana, and as we get closer to mid-year, the government of Ghana has actual data on the real impact of COVID-19 across various sectors: education, health, the economy, trade, the legal front, several other areas. The President has instructed all ministers to report on the impact across their sectors and proffer recommendations for recovery.
And we wait the outcome of that particular retreat, the cabinet retreat that we understand is underway as of now. Well, also today at the briefing, the executive director of the National Board on Small-Scale Industries, Madam Kosi Yankee, provided highlights on how government intends to disburse the 600 million CD stimulus package put aside for businesses.
We have led a few engagements to come up with a product, and those products are aligned with what the people, the micro, small and medium enterprises need to be able to go through this very tough time. This has also been supported by the Ministry of Finance and his team, as well as the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, ensuring that at the end of the day, when this program is rolled out, everything goes along very efficiently and is transparent for us all to be able to access. With that, we've also come up and worked very closely with the various stakeholders to come up with the eligibility criteria and really tighten it in such a way that it allows for people to have the option and be able to apply for the facility. Exclusively, we've also been able to communicate to everyone, especially the associations, trade groups, and the financial institutions, so that they align, so that when the program is rolled out, we'll be able to support and assist. In order to make this more efficient and transparent, the team as well as the board decided to work on a technology portal where applications can be processed and where applications would go to. We are also considering, and with engagements that we've had in the past weeks, to align very closely with those who might not have access to technology in some of the districts across the country, so that we do not exclude anybody from accessing and to apply for this facility. So in the past few weeks, we've been working on this portal as well to ensure that it is the right one for our board to approve, as well as to make it more efficient. Currently, we are stress testing the portal to ensure that on the day when it is launched, when there is a rush or when there are a lot of people, it does not disappoint any of us. And so currently, in the past few weeks, as I have mentioned, we've been working on coming up with the right product to support the micro, small, and medium enterprises, not forgetting the informal, but also considering the formal as well. We've been working on the portal where the applications will come through to ensure that there's accessibility for the nation, not selected people, and it would also be transparent and efficient for us to be able to get our funding. And we believe that in a few weeks, once the stress test is done, we will continue in the coming weeks to engage with various stakeholders so that they can start educating the population, and we'll start the communication as well so that more people know about it and can apply for it, to avoid future challenges where people are not able to hear much about what we have to offer that the President had announced as part of the 600 million CD stimulus.
And that is the Executive Director of the National Board on Small Scale Industries, Madam Kosi Yankee there. I want to bring in the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon Kota, who joins us on the telephone line right now on this. Mr. Kota, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. We just had there talk about engagement going forward as they stress test the online portal that will become the basis for the applications and accessing of the 6 million. What sort of engagements have you had, if at all, with the National Board on Small Scale Industries on the 600 million CD stimulus package?
Well, thank you, and my regard to your listeners. Unfortunately, on our part, we've not met with the small scale industries. What we've been engaged in this particular week had been with those in the hotel and restaurant, industry, who have been the worst hit in this pandemic time. And therefore, hearing this since yesterday, that there have been engagement with government and some packages are coming out. If it is open and it's well published, we believe all small scale and medium scale people will equally also apply.
I mean, today we've got an update on where they are. They say they are stress testing the portal that will allow you to then access it. Do you believe you have, from what you know, have enough clarity about how this will operate going forward?
Well, I'm thinking that if we watch it carefully, not all have got phones that have got these apps on them, and therefore, if we don't take these applications, will be limited only to those who have got that, either iPhone or technology that could help them to access. But this should be open to all to make sure that people can. So I would prefer they will have given shows to certain centers where you can go and collect application form or go and drop your application. If it's a high tech alone, then I'm sorry, some will be disadvantaged.
Okay, I think I also heard a talk about they are factoring that into the equation in moving forward. But finally, 600 million. And if you look at your members and what you're going through during this period, I can imagine that a lot of them can't wait for the green light to start applying. Roughly, I mean, what has been the impact in terms of job losses, businesses that may have folded up, in your part of the union?
Well, in our space, at the moment, not a single employee who is a member of the union have been given letter of termination or redundancy of a sort. At the moment, all the employers have done so well keeping them. But for how long can they keep them if the businesses are not resuming? And therefore, we will see the real impact, maybe right after July or June, thereabout, whether or not if the employers can continue to extend the kind of salaries they are paying to them as of now. So we will not be able to speak the real impact of job losses as of now, because for now, none of our members have been given, some termination letters.
Well, grateful that we could speak to you. Let's bring in the welfare officer, the National Welfare Officer of GUTA, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Benjamin Yeboah. Mr. Yeboah, have you had any engagements at all on this 600 million stimulus package?
Well, my brother, good evening, and good evening to your cherished listeners. Yes, we've had some interaction with our sector ministry, the trade ministry. We've had some brief interaction with them concerning the package, and we've also been reached by NBSSI. They also called us. We went to them to have some brief discussions with them. But whatever it is, it just boils down to we making sure that our data is ready. So that is what we've been doing. We've targeted ourselves latest by early next week. We should have all our data ready. We are in about 6-7 regions in this country, and therefore we have regionals and then we have sectors under the region, and therefore we are collating all the data so that next week we'll be ready to give out our data, and then we'll see the next stage.
Well, I'm grateful. That is GUTA's National Welfare Officer, Benjamin Yeboah. You're still listening to News 90 on Joy 99.7 FM. Still ahead, daughter of a recovered COVID-19 patient pelted with stones as stigmatization of patients and their family members increase.
They stoned my daughter, and even mothers were sitting under their trees watching children to stone their fellow colleague that she's suffering from COVID-19.
Plus, police in Adabraka here in Accra say they feel threatened and insecure due to coronavirus fears after a mob vandalized and dumped a dead body at the police station.
So I understand they came to attack him, and that police officer had to call for 2 of his colleagues. So they went to his rescue. In fact, they have actually injured him, carried the dead body, and brought the dead body to the third office to vent their spleen at the policemen.
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, what can you? What's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wasting ye. Hey, what push mama me feel it too much?
Who project here? Me friend gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them ah. If for soup in our do. On your quality no question. Extra gas them cement biara. I will cook a crab bee. Over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them. I donations. SCC schools, I built the clinic. Now, when a packaging now, what's Shadara and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value GASM offers you always. GASM, the nation builder.
Well, a few of your messages on the stories you've heard so far. Josephine from Kumasi says government is trying during the pandemic, but this government is known for massaging figures. They want to use figures to look good before us instead of reality. This one from Walanyo also sent us this. There's no doubt that COVID-19 has been taking the lead in our pricing, but we can do ourselves a favor as individuals' responsibility to bring the number to a standstill by observing basic personal safety precautions, she says. Kofi Sika says, isn't the data government is banding about quite questionable? Government claims to have done over 137,000 tests, but the question is from how many patients, and since there were duplicate and triplicate tests, won't the error affect the per capita testing figures they are banding about? And a Musa Abattoir says the minority says the evidence does not. The minority are on point. Evidence doesn't support government claims in relation to our cases declining, and Ghana attained the best performing country in the fight against the COVID-19. Rather, the worst, which data suggests that. A few of your comments on that particular story on Top Story. Now, it appears calls by health experts for the public to desist from stigmatizing people suffering from COVID-19 are not being heeded. As many continue to tell these stories of being shunned by their neighbors and families, tonight my colleague Albert Sorry brings us a story of the 8-year-old daughter of Matilda Agamu, recently recovered from COVID-19 in Bolgatanga, who now fears to be seen, let alone play with her friends because of what might happen to her if she's seen outside her home. Now, children in the community pelted her with stones whilst on an errand because her mother's condition. Now, her mother has also been forced to stop trading in the market because her colleagues say she is a plague in the community.
Matilda recounts her identity and the results of her coronavirus test somehow made it into the public domain. This was how people within and outside the community began to stigmatize Matilda and the rest of her family.
They stoned my daughter, the community. It was dry okra they asked her to buy. When she just left the house, they started stoning her, and even mothers were sitting under their trees watching children to stone their fellow colleagues that she's suffering from COVID-19, and she has to run for her life. She wept.
When Matilda recovered from the virus and was discharged from the hospital, she was also met with stigmatization.
When they heard that I've been discharged, I sit in the market to sell, and then they called and told me that I shouldn't come and sit with them, if not that they won't get customers because of my sickness. And even when that thing happened, someone went to the market and told them that this is what I'm suffering from, so they shouldn't allow me to come and sell.
Matilda and her husband are both traders. This has resulted in some financial difficulties for Matilda's family.
So any moment from now, I will be put into bed, and I do not even prepare anything. So right now, I'm appealing to everyone to come and support me, either in finances, including whatever you have.
For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Bolgatanga.
Well, the MP for Bolgatanga, Isaac Hadongo, tells Joy News he will be taking the matter up.
To be honest with you, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm aware of the woman's condition at the time that she was diagnosed because I was constantly in touch with the Municipal Health Directorate. And it was around the time that I was giving so much support to the Municipal Health Directorate. And nevertheless, I would apprise myself with the situation and see what support I can give her and to help educate the people to understand that when you get this disease, it's not the end.
Well, Dr. Brenya Riafia Kenting is a social psychology lecturer at the University of Ghana, and he joins us on the telephone line on the back of this tragic story. Doc, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. This must surely be hampering the fight to win this war against COVID-19.
Evans.
Hello, Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, great. I'm just stating that from what we've heard, it is obvious to me, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, that it will be a hindrance to winning the war against COVID-19.
It would definitely be, because the fact is, and from what we just heard, the stigma is out there. The perception about people who have tested positive is negative. In other words, the perception is negative out there. So if I know, or anybody knows that will be what will happen to him when community members and other people get to know his status or her status, then if that person can hide, then that is the action the person is going to take. What it means is we need to take this very seriously, intensify the education, especially to the strata that may not appreciate what the disease is. In the different local languages, go to the market, involve the chiefs, involve the assemblymen and women and the market leaders. And we also need to include those who have recovered, the heroes and the heroines, just to indicate that the disease is not as deadly as we think, is not as mystic as we think, and all the other reasons. Because the essence of our stigma is people identify you as different from them. They are afraid of you, and they see you as the disease itself. And that is why that they even want to kill the daughter. You know, they don't want such people in their community. It's very, very, very unfortunate.
I mean, are there? So this is happening, and I bet this is a story we know of. I can bet there are, and we have 3,000 cases plus. I can bet there are many more people like this. I wonder the social safety nets that should be you just laid out the solutions, but for those who are going through this right now, as part of the interventions that we've had over the few weeks, what else can the state do, bearing in mind that stigma is real in this particular matter, to ease the burden on those already affected, and so that those who may be positive, who may fear stigmatization, at least know that if that is the case, they have some help as the state is coming to their aid.
I will start the safety net from the psychology point of view. You need psychologists to help these people to reduce the anxiety, to restore their self-worth and the self-esteem that is likely to be affected on the basis of the finger pointing, name calling, and all the rest. The next stage will be what the MP said, individually, and community members, MPs, and those who are in the position to help these people. Because previous reports that have come up show that even if you are selling, you have a shop, whatever activity you are engaged in, either services or products, those who know about your status are likely not to patronize. So moving from the MP and the individual level, the state can also help, as is being done for small scale and other corporations, so that individuals will not hide and therefore make the fight difficult.
I'm grateful that you could join us. That is Dr. Brenya Wiafia-Kenting. He's a social psychology lecturer at the University of Ghana. Later on Newsnight.
Who would drop this song, then go live, go cry, emotional thing?
Well, what's in the beef? I will tell you about the lyrical feud among three female Ghanaian musicians that has got social media talking. Charles Aite, my regular punching bag, is here. What's the beef?
Well, it depends on the context. But in this particular way, we could say that it's kind of a battle between two people who...
Today you're on point. You're on point. What's in business tonight?
Anyway, so coming up in business, receiver for non-bank financial institutions to complete depositors' payments by the end of this month. And tax expert calls for targeted bailouts for industries beyond the announced 600 million city stimulus package. Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery and a one-stop shop for all office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
When you want it, just Momo it. When you tire for the long queue in the supermarket, just Momo it. And when you really want that beautiful new blouse too, just Momo it. And when you won't get that, when you go get fresh to impress, you know who, just Momo it. And when you need to pay that your utility bill and domestic staff set, just Momo it. And when you want send love to the family for back home, just Momo it. So many ways there. Where you go use your MTN Momo wallet or make payments with scan to pay. Where you go use the QR code, or you go use the merchant ID or on bank POS terminal. You go also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to
30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office. Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Everyone needs a partner who will be there through the good times and tough times. We are that partner, and we appreciate your loyalty. At GoTV, we always have your back. That's why we're giving you a free upgrade on your next package. Simply stay connected and get upgraded to the next higher package at no cost. Annual upgrade at no cost. Stay home, stay safe, and stay remotely connected with MTN Mobile, Vodafone Cash, Slide Pay, Express Pay, eTransact, or your banking application, or *389*5# and *759#, and we will connect you with non-stop family mix entertainment on BET, Africa Magic Family, Rock 2 and 3, Telemundo, News, Trace Jama, and an array of kids learning and fun channels to wow you. Thank you for being our loyal partner. Stay entertained. GoTV's got your back.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
And you're welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, receiver for non-bank financial institutions has assured that depositors yet to receive payment of their funds will be cleared by the end of May this year. Here's Minister of Information Kojo Nkrumah speaking earlier at a press briefing today.
Approximately 2.11 billion has been paid in cash, while about 2.95 billion has been paid in bonds, bringing total payments to 5.06 billion. Based on total cash payments to be made by the end of the depositor payment exercise, it is expected that a population of individual depositors numbering about 297,000 whose claims have been validated and accepted in the resolution of the aforementioned groups of companies, and ultimately not less than 290,000, that's about 98% in number of individual claims, will be fully paid in cash. The remaining 2% of individual depositor claims will be paid by a combination of cash and bonds. So here are the next steps on the payments. They are first of all concluding the depositor payment process, and the key next steps to be undertaken are as follows. They want to conclude the final second level validation of that 340 million and make payments accordingly. They expect that by the end of May they should be done with that one. There are some of the organizations whose books and records still have challenges, and they are processing those for some further investigations. And then finally, they will issue a report to the Bank of Ghana on the depositor payment scheme.
And that's the Minister for Information, Kojo Nkrumah. Tax expert William Dementia is calling on government to consider a targeted business bailout for industries and SMEs in the country to sustain the operations beyond COVID-19. He spoke at the sidelines of the Industrialization Roundtable by Joy Business.
Okay, so my thinking is that the stimulus package must be targeted. That is, we must start by doing an analysis of the various industries in Ghana and the impact of COVID-19 on them. When we are able to determine how COVID-19 has impacted them, some of them have their working capital impaired. Some of them have huge financial costs in terms of financing that they have to pay. Some of them have other debts that they have to service because suppliers and all that. The question is that if we are able to see the good picture of how these industries are being impacted, then we will know how the stimulus package can be applied. For some of them, they may need a relief from paying interest or repaying taxes. Some may need a relief from paying their commitments to their suppliers, which government can come in and guarantee for them. Some may need actual cash injection, because if you don't give them that, they won't survive. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. We must be able to do that analysis to see how each industry and each of the industries or each of the firms in the industries are behaving, so that we can do a targeted stimulus package for them. That is what I believe. So the ballpark figure must be broken down and applied in different ways to different.
Tax expert William Dementia. Meanwhile, senior manager at KPMG Ghana, Michael Boateng, says extension of tax filing date for businesses is a prudent move by government.
our environment has been very conducive. But if you look at where we want to go in terms of the Ghana leapfrogging to become one of the big industrial countries in Africa, you see that there's more that we can do to get there. I mean, if you just want to be where we are, we can just stay. But I believe that there's so much we can do. And one of the things which I've seen that recently, when the Minister of Finance went to Parliament on March 30th to announce some of the government measures, it will interest you to know that one of the biggest things that they made was the ease of doing business or complying with taxes. Here, they've granted additional extension of time, meaning that taxpayers now, instead of filing their annual returns by a certain period, they were given a 2-month extension so that they will have time to comply with social distancing and also just to ease their operations in complying with the tax filings.
And that's Senior Manager at KPMG Ghana, Michael Boateng, ending business on Newsnight.
Charles, thank you very much. And a few of your messages. This one from K. Benz in East Legon. Evans, I strongly suggest that stigma against COVID-19 survivors must be classified as an offense punishable by law. As people, we know what an insult is. In the same vein, we know what stigma looks like. Let's identify it and punish perpetrators. That's the only way we can control the behavior. And a final one says, so are we safe? Who can we believe now? Well, questioning the issues surrounding the science and the data when it comes to the COVID-19. And Kofi in Konongo says, what is motivating the government, telling us that the pandemic is on a decline? His is a question. What is yours? Keep them coming in. I'll share it with the rest of the world. Tonight, police in Adabraka here in Accra say they feel threatened and insecure due to coronavirus fears after a mob dumped a dead body at the police station there. 2 police officers were left injured and vehicles at the police station vandalized. Now, tonight, the Joy is learning that the police officials have been forced to shut down the charge office at the station. The mob attack follows the drowning of a resident in the Odo River, with claims that the suspect was being chased by the police. The mob say a threat by a policeman to shoot them prevented them from saving the suspect. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba spent some time in Adabraka today as tensions between the community and the police rise and joins me in the studio. How did this resident drown exactly?
Well, according to our police sources, one of the men from the Adabraka police station was actually going to the mechanic in that community to pick up a vehicle. Well, just when he got into the community, the deceased saw him and then started running away. We were told by some of the community people that the police officer gave the deceased a hot chase, and then he ran and then jumped into the Odo River. We are told that after that happened, they pulled the deceased out, but by that time he was dead, and a mob gathered and actually assaulted the police officer because the people thought that he was the one who pushed who forced the deceased to enter the river. They had to get additional men to come and save him from the attacks. We are told that they subsequently carried the deceased, sent him to the Adabraka police station, and then dumped him on the counter at the police station.
8:30 in the afternoon, and we were inside smoking. We are really smokers. And what I know about the guy, he's a footballer and also a coach to the small guys around. So what I know is that we saw 2 policemen coming, and they were chasing him without a top. So when he was running, he just quit to where the river is. He choked, and the police told them when the guy entered into the river, he said, whoever chased into the river, you'll be shot. So when he said that, everybody was afraid to enter the river. So after some time, for about 1 hour, our senior men around, who still around, came and told us, why are you standing there? Can't you do anything? And we all started. We were about 6 boys. We just entered into the river for about from 3:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening. We saw the guy and he was dead. We picked him up and we called the police, and they were resisting to come. So we have our right to push him back to the police station. She was there.
Why couldn't you go inside to tell
Because he told us immediately as the thing happened, he told us whoever entered the river will be shot. So we were all afraid to enter. I saw two policemen and one guy believed to be an informant. They were pursuing him. There was nothing like he was holding any substance that was illegal for them to do that to him. That was why he tried saving himself in the lagoon. So for me, I saw it from a distance. The police told them they shouldn't enter the water because they will fire. Because the immediate people there could have saved him, but they said they will fire if somebody is to jump into the water to save him. So all of them became afraid. The water drowned him, and he will come up. The water will just drown him, and he will try with his strength just to do something, but still he couldn't do anything. Justice must prevail. The law must take its course. Justice must prevail.
You see, yesterday the policeman, what he done is very unconscious. Because it's not easy to come and kill a man who give me food to eat. The policeman wanted to catch him, but the whole thing is like you not going to stand there because you don't have anything in your pocket. If you send him to the police station, it's going to be a long process. You get me? So for me, I will not agree for you to catch him. I'll run. So he ran to that water side, the lagoon. Then he entered there. The time I was there, I wanted to come and remove him from the lagoon. The policeman told me that if I enter there, he will shoot me. He told me straight to the point, if I enter there, he will shoot me. So I was just afraid. What can I do? I could have saved him easily because I was there. The time he go, I was the person and my brothers go and remove him from the lagoon.
So the residents took matters into their own hands and attacked the police station, but they went there. They retrieved the body from the Odo River.
Exactly.
And it carried the body along.
They carried the body along the streets. They were chanting, singing. We were told that there were about 500 people. They sent the body to the charge office straight, dumped it there, and then they came outside. The vehicles parked on the compound. Now the pickup vehicle had its windscreen smashed, the police pickup vehicle. There was another Camry on the compound smashed. There was a taxi also on the compound, which was an exhibit the police had in their possession. The windscreen was also smashed. Everything completely destroyed on the compound there at the Bracca police station.
Were police officers injured?
Yes, 2 police officers were injured. We are told by the police that one of the men is actually still receiving treatment at the hospital.
Apparently, from what the Nima Divisional Police Commander also tells you, this has been simmering. This is not the first time somebody had jumped into the Odo River when they were being pursued by the police.
Exactly. He says that particular area has gained notoriety for drug peddling and its usage. And usually what they do there is that when they engage in the act, you see them and you try to arrest them, then they run and then jump into the other drain.
The question I asked the person, was it the policeman who pushed the guy into the river? You see, these people have developed the penchant of jumping into the river anytime they think that the police are there to conduct either a swoop or to arrest them. So maybe when he saw the presence of the police, he thought he was coming to recce and to arrest. And when the guy was even describing the distance that the policeman emerged and where the guy also went in, it's like it doesn't even make sense. Because there were other routes the guy could have even used to escape. I don't know, you said you went to the scene, but if you do, crime scene analysis or construction, it doesn't make sense, because the question I asked, if what you are saying is anything to go by, there are several routes that the guy could have used. Even a lot of vehicles were tagged. So couldn't he have just escaped through any other route rather than to, and then they said that in fact they have a penchant of jumping into the river. Because anytime they see the police, they think that the police cannot swim. So the moment they see, they jump into the river, and that's exactly what happened. You see, my beef is that, in any case, is it the policeman who pushed him? And he was not even close to him for us to say that maybe it was the policeman who pushed him or who tried to drown him there. So if in the course of the descent you got drowned, why will you blame it on the police? Oh, you have certainly started, because the incident happened yesterday, and soon after the incident, you started with our investigation. The IGP was there. Yes, he came to soldiers behind our men, because it's like you have to even close down the charge office because you feel a bit threatened and insecure. Not threatened as in the case of mob attacks, but because of the epidemic, the coronavirus. Yes, you know that it is not ideal for the personnel to be there while they have come to dump a dead body. You don't even know what might have caused, what virus the people might have even brought there. So as I speak, you have closed the charge office. You have also evacuated the inmates from that place.
And that is the Nima Divisional Police Commander ACP Abraham Akwe. Well, 2 people have since been arrested and are in the custody of the police. Let's do sports now, and Benedict is joining me. Hello, Benedict.
Hi, Evans. We've got some issues to deal with this evening. Now, the financial package agreed between the Football Association, that's the GFA, and Puma, kit sponsor of the country's teams, has been reviewed downwards. Now, the agreement has been cut by 30%, that's according to our checks, and we understand that the deal agreed between the FA and Puma, there were 3 benefits of the contract. The first benefit was to supply or provide kits up to 500,000 euros per year, and a financial contribution of 800,000 euros per year under the last contract. The second was that there were other benefits at major competitions like the Africa Cup of Nations, and that was going to happen at every stage. There was a benefit of about 100,000 euros and 200,000 euros or more, depending on the stage the team reached. And if Puma spent 500,000 euros to produce kits when sold, GFA earned about 8% from the sales. Well, Executive Council member Nana Udru Safo, speaking to us, would not confirm the percentage reduction, but corroborates the change in figures.
We have renewed our contract with Puma. So during the NC era, they renewed it. So it runs the same as it was before.
4 years?
Yes.
Okay, so same figures or the figures have changed. I've made to understand that initially the figures were about 800,000 euros.
Figures have changed a little because of the expose, because of sales, because of popularity. But we believe we've been there to speak to them. The new administration has spoken to them, and then we are seeing how best we can do to come back to that level, which we believe will be there.
So that's of the Football Association, Nana Udru Safo. There will be more on this in our subsequent sports bulletins. Now, away from the local scene, the Bundesliga will resume behind closed doors on May 16, becoming the first European league to restart following the coronavirus shutdown. One of the games on the day of relaunch will be the derby between Schalke and Borussia Dortmund. Champions Bayern Munich, who are 4 points clear at the top of the table, travel to Union Berlin on Sunday, and we still stay in Germany, and their all-time leading scorer Miroslav Klose has been appointed Bayern Munich assistant coach for next season. Now, he's been a youth coach at the club for the past 2 years after retiring as a player in 2016.
Benedict, thank you very much. Now, scientists around the world are racing against time to find a vaccine or cure for COVID-19. But here in Ghana, some young men in some ghettos in the Accra community of Choko believe they have found an antidote to the virus. Well, they call it weed or marijuana. That's what they believe is the cure for the virus. This is one of many myths Joy News will highlight in our new series titled Combating Fake News Project. Now, Joy News' Henry Kwesibedu visited these ghettos and has today's episode.
The waves crash against the shore here at Choko. The fishermen move up and down. Some are going out to sea while others mend their nets. Dotted along the shore are makeshift structures that people call ghettos, with marijuana sold in there. Many more people go there these days following the outbreak of COVID-19 because of this.
We heard that they say when you smoke the weed, you are not going to get infected. So right now, we the smokers, we are smoking it times 20.
That's 25-year-old Aziz, who started using marijuana some 6 years ago. He only used the herb occasionally, but things have changed now. Since Ghana recorded its first case of COVID-19 in March, he has spent most of his days at the ghetto. His reason, users of cannabis are immune to COVID-19.
Most of the guys who come here to smoke, they are new smokers. They don't smoke, but because of these rumors, people are now smoking. And I think it's good. Before the virus, early in the morning, I take 2 rows, afternoon 2 rows, evening 2 rows. But now, from morning to afternoon, I take almost about 7 rows, evening 4 rows, making 11 rows. Yes.
We meet 45-year-old Raymond Ankuma, a resident. He tells me marijuana is now a major component of his diet. Taking it thrive daily.
We,
the smokers, are immune to this virus. In the morning, you can mix the substance with water in a cup and add sugar. Once you do that, you don't have to be worried about contracting the virus.
They both claim cannabis is an immune booster and are recommending it.
Since this coronavirus thing, I've never heard that it has affected any Rastaman. No.
We have been speaking to Professor Alfred Yosen of the University of Ghana's Medical School, who debunks this myth.
It has not been proven that smoking marijuana will protect you from COVID. And marijuana itself has its own effect already. And now increasing the usage and excessive use of it may have more ill effects than they would wish for.
So, the claim that weed protects you against COVID-19 is false.
It is false, indeed. So, what's in a beef? I'm not talking about beggar, not beggar. Who does this job better? Well, I could do well if I go into the rap game, don't you think? I'm talking about beef as in the feud between rappers, and it's predominantly in hip-hop that you see this play out. Anyway, the last few days have seen 3 Ghanaian female musicians go at each other in a lyrical beef that has got social media talking. I present to you Eno Baroni, Sister Efia, and Frida Rhymes.
Let the games begin.
In Ghana, rap feuds between male rappers are common. For the likes of Exto in Chicago through to Strongman and Medical to Sarkodie and Asem, the men have generated controversy over whose lyrical strength is more powerful. But all that changed this week when a song by Sister Fia ignited a battle with 2 other rappers, Eno Baroni and Frida Rhymes. WMT's song was described by some fans as a jab to musician Sister Debbie, but Sister Efia denied the claims.
Every artist wants attention in this country. Even the biggest artists in Ghana, they want attention.
So, how did Eno Baroni and Frida Rhymes find themselves in this beef? Was it Sister Efia's line in the song praising herself as being a better rapper, even though she's a singer, that triggered their reactions? Frida Rhymes, winner of the 6th edition of the MTN Hitmaker reality show, released KMT in an obvious jab to Sister Efia, describing her as an emotional singer so frustrated that she had to become a rapper.
Who would drop this song, then go alive, go crying, emotional singer?
Eno Baroni entered the fray, touting herself as the rap goddess. The Toma-based rapper did not hold back as she threw lyrical punches at both Sister Efia and Frida Rhymes. Sister Efia retorted with another single, You Got Nerve, directed at her lyrical nemesis.
Punch on point, I do better chance I rap and I watch it just a beat beggar.
But one thing is certain, it has generated excitement among rap lovers.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
Well, we've not had the last of this. I can assure you the coming days will be interesting. That's it for News Night tonight. My name is Evans Mensah. On that beefy note, enjoy the rest of your evening.